Here we go.
Okay.
Hi, this is Ed Rising, and welcome back to Ed's Pop-O-Matic Podcast, a retro pop culture podcast where everything retro beats the new and you keep it in your heart. And today, we're going to pay tribute to one of our very favorite artists, Davy Jones of the Monkees, and of course, a singer, dancer, and actor in his own right, and God knows what else he does. So we've got a good lineup of people here. We have Mark Arnold,
Yay.
Fred Velez,
Hey,
and a man from Down Under, Plastic EP.
Can you
Welcome
see me?
everyone. How's everybody doing?
I can
we're
see you.
doing good.
Right.
We're doing swell.
Super. Okay. Um, So I guess what we should do first is talk a little bit about the fact that uh, we lost Davy 14 years ago, the end of February of 2012, and it's quite a big. It was a big deal for a lot of people because um, he, as one of the monkeys, was one of those artists from that time period that you didn't expect to lose so very young. And it probably pulled at a lot of people's heartstrings that they didn't even realize they had. That, oh
Yeah.
my God, Davy Jones is gone, our pop hero when we were young. Um, Fred, do you recall when you remember hearing losing David?
Oh boy, do I remember. Um, I was at the time I was starting work at the New Amsterdam Theater in New York City where Mary Poppins was playing, and Davy Jones was actually across the street playing at the BB King's Club. And unfortunately, my mother was not feeling well, so I couldn't see that concert that night. And that turned out to be Davy's last concert in New York. We didn't know it, but and the thing is, the funny thing was that afternoon matinee for Mary Poppins, Paul McCartney came to see the show. So that was something.
Yeah.
And knowing Davy was across the street. So anyway, I also had a temp job at the time, and I was at my temp job on the 29th of February, and my sister called me on my cell phone and said, "Are you okay?" He says, "Yeah, I'm okay." He says, "What can I do for you?" I said, "Did you hear the news?" "What news?" He says, "Davy Jones died." And at the top of my voice, I said, "What?" Everybody in the
Mm.
office turned around and looked at me. And then I asked my sister to clarify, and I had to look up online on a couple of things, like the Monkeys bulletin board, and there it was, sadly, and I was like in shock.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I put a quick message out to fans. I think I was on Facebook at the time, so or on one of the message boards, and and uh, I was just, it's still to this day, it still gets me, because Davy's passing really hit home since I knew him, and I actually worked on one of his books, on his Mutant Monkeys book, when I went to Beavertown, Pennsylvania. And his death hit me the way John Lennon's death hit me, because both of them were totally unexpected. When George Harrison died, because of the cancer, we sort of were expecting it. We were hoping for the best. Same
Yeah.
thing with Peter Tork. We knew, what was going on, and we was hoping for the best there too. And Mike was, when he passed away, it was just a few weeks after he did his last Monkees concert. So, we knew he wasn't well, but we didn't realize how bad off he was. But like I said, Davy's passing was a total complete shock. And I just had a lot of memories about him, working with him on the what I call on the book, seeing the concerts with him, introducing him on stage at monkey conventions, and speaking with him on the phone. And he was just an amazing personality and a fantastic performer. And you see some of the videos on YouTube of him in his concerts, and you see he gave his like 100% plus in those shows, and you could tell everybody was touched by him, and he meant so much, and he's still missed to this day. We still uh, we miss the entertainment, we miss the music, and we just miss him because he was such a special human being.
Right on. And Mark, do you recall how you felt about this about it?
Well, the story I always tell is, it was a shock too because he was the youngest monkey. I had seen him 2 weeks earlier at a Hollywood autograph show, and he was very cordial. I got his autograph on his first autobiography. And he would, somebody handed him a guitar and he played songs, and he was just entertaining all day to everybody, just like, hey, I'll take photos, I'll do anything you want, basically. And he was like the star of the show. The story I always say is that that room was filled with other celebrities, that they had a bet as to which celebrity would pass away first.
Oh God,
Davy Jones wouldn't have been on that list. I mean,
no.
it's like Martin Landau was there for Mission Impossible. He was like 88 years old. He was pretty old at that point. And they had Carla Lemley, who's the daughter of the founder of Universal Studios, and she was already over 100. And both of them lived another 3 or 4 years. And
Wow.
Davy was only in his 60s and
Right.
gone. So
Yeah, pretty
that's what the
amazing.
shock was for me because, he was just there. So,
Yeah.
What gets
And
me,
Plastic,
oh, go ahead.
where were you when you heard the news?
Okay, can you hear and see me? That's what I want to
I
know.
can hear
Yes.
and I can see you.
me too.
Very
Okay,
handsome man.
thank you. I just want to tell you, it's the first time I've shown my front yard there. You see my front yard?
I
Okay.
do.
Vicky's floating around here somewhere, and I'll just quickly turn the camera on. No one sees this. This is my lounge room and dining room here, and all the action happens down there in that computer on the desktop. You see that?
Very cool.
Just thought I'd show you. I got
Inside
memorabilia.
Plastic EP's home. Wow.
I got
Ah,
memorabilia here, right? Here's my famous shirt. There's my new laptop, and there's half the crap that I got there, and then I got my backyard out there. Hang on, just while I'm here, got my backyard out there. Vicky's floating around the kitchen, and I got the view there, and I just thought I'd show you that. Now I'll tell you what happened with
Thank you.
Davey, right? Thank you for that. Private tour of Plastic EP's house. Anyway, what happens is I remember when Davey passed away, and I was in shock because, as you know, we're all big Monkeys fans, all of us, right? And we love the Monkeys. We grew up with the Monkeys, and the Monkeys were it. And I just want to say, when it hit me, and like I was in shock. I couldn't believe that one of them had gone. And then Peter, then Mike, then Mickey's there, and you got to understand, the Monkeys TV show, Screen Gems had Davy Jones, but they didn't have a vehicle for a show for him, right? And the Monkeys was ideal, and they basically did the Monkeys because they wanted a vehicle for Davy Jones, and he didn't have to audition because he was a shoe-in. They wanted to do a show revolving around him, and
yep,
even Mike has said, the Monkeys were truly like Davy Jones. They loved him. Mickey loved him like a brother. I mean, Peter and Davey had their problems, but everyone did. What band's perfect? They were like, when they're on screen, there was nothing like it. They were untouchable. They were like a genie in a bottle. It's like what they put down. People have to understand that they're total entertainers, right? Like David Jones came from Broadway, came from TV shows before the Monkeys, right? Even Mickey, he was doing Circus Boy. He was actually in two other bands or three bands before the Monkeys. Peter Talk was there in
The
doing
village.
folk and everything there already at the Troubadour like Mike, and he was in Greenwich Village. So these guys were already musicians, and they just happened to get there in 1965 to Hollywood, just like to make it. And from there, the show just took off, and it was instant success. And that's why a lot of bands, right, that were garage bands or established bands, couldn't understand that the Monkees hit instant fame. And they did, because they did pre-production of the show. They did everything. But what people don't understand is it's the first time that a record company and a TV film company got together as an assault on the public, and they were organized. The machine was huge. And that's why the
Yep.
Monkees were such an instant success, because they were before their time. The show was before their time. And those four guys had so much talent that it couldn't be done without anyone else. And their personalities were the Monkees. And that's why you had 435 hopefuls and you had the four guys. And the Monkees don't get enough praise for being entertainers. And I'll make this clear. They've never set out to be the Beatles. The Beatles was an idea from their movies, and the Beatles written, and the Beatles deserted all their teeny boppers. And that's when that was a perfect timing for Raffleson and Snyder to come in and do the TV show and take all the teeny boppers. There's nothing there. So the waters parted and they picked up all the teeny boppers. And I remember at school, and this is true, and you guys will know, living here in Australia, there was fights at my elementary school. We call it state school because we're under the Commonwealth, right? We used to fight with older kids because they thought the Monkees were rubbish, because they were giving all their Beatle records to their younger brother and sister. So you had that going on, and people were jealous of the Monkees. And I don't understand why, because they're not the Beatles. You don't have a guitarist with a green hat. You don't have four guys that are totally living in a beach house driving a monkey mobile. How's that become the Beatles? Nothing to do with the Beatles. They're just total entertainers, and they knew how to put out entertainment. And they knew, right, once the group was a success, playing live, they played more concerts than anybody. They went from an idea to being a real band. That is a fact. And
I mean, it's pretty amazing about the band.
Wait a minute. They loved the Beatles, and they were happy taking second place. They weren't looking to take first place. They were happy sitting in number 2.
It's amazing. It's amazing when you think about how they went from being actors cast in a TV show to actually being able to pick up the instruments. I mean, granted, 2 of them were actual serious musicians. To actually put a band together in a very short order amount of time and be able to put a 25-minute, half an hour show on, in front of a lot of people. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, but they're smart because they had Davy. They had Davy as the front man, right? And Davy was English, but Davy wasn't singing English songs. He was singing English songs before he joined the Monkees on his album, Davy Jones, where Maybe I'm a Londoner. And that great song, well, Dream Girl's my favourite, but he's singing Any Old Iron. He's singing songs that are abstract, right? Unless you're English, you don't know what he's singing about. He did that before. And then here in Australia, they're so smart. In 67, when the Monkees are red hot, they released the Davy album, which has got nothing to do with the Monkees, but it's got Davy Jones on the cover from a 1967 shot. I mean, you've got to know and keep up to date with what's actually happened. They manipulated everything, and everyone got on the bandwagon. And that's what it is. I couldn't understand in 67 they released Davy Jones. Where'd this album come from? Doesn't sound the Monkees to me. They're smart. They released his old album before the Monkees.
Of course. It's marketing.
Yeah.
It's everything.
It's a cash in. But kids of 67 would have bought anything. I mean, we've got Australian EPs here of Davy Jones that they didn't release. One is Walking on the Beach from the Monkees set, right? Yeah. And there's another one too. And these are rare, only Australian EPs.
Well, they were MTV before MTV.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Well, they did the romps. That were the videos
and they were fantasy. Every kid could watch the Monkees every week, and they could fantasize about being in a rock band. The Beatles, of course, had their movies, but there was every week the Monkees were in your living room, and you could identify with that.
Yes, but that identification, I want to clarify that because this is important. When you're watching the Monkees and you're watching it as a first-generation fan, I can tell you, the Monkees were so believable. You believe that they lived in a beach house. You believe that they drove the monkey mobile even to the shopping centre. And you watched it and you said, I want to be like that. I want to
Yeah.
sing songs. I want to be in a band. And when the monkeys played on TV, I can tell you in 66, because it wasn't shown here till 67, you believed it. You didn't know there was other artists and session musicians doing the song. You didn't know that. No
You
one
didn't
said
care
that
about
back
that.
in 66, 67. That
No.
was it. When you saw him, you believed it. It was that believable a show.
I believe they were really pushing a bed and pushing a bathtub in the middle of the
Yeah,
street.
that's right. Well, I
Having
believe,
a horse in
and
the
listen,
beach house.
I believed that they lived in the beach house, and I said, I want to live in a beach house.
Uh,
I want to
and
drive
let's
a monkey mobile. It's true. I couldn't say that with the Beatles.
well, and you got to remember they had a lot of amazing songwriters like Neil Diamond, Carol Baker Sayer,
Yeah,
Carol
like Neil
King, Boyce and
Sedaka
Hart.
passed away now. I
I
know what you're
know Neil.
saying, but you don't understand. When
Yeah,
you're at the age, right, of 67, and I'm 9 years old, I don't know about Neil Sedaka. I don't know about the
Yeah.
songwriters. I don't know about the session musicians. I basically don't give a shit
Yeah.
because I'm watching the monkeys on TV, and that's what the monkeys are. They're nothing else. That is
Yeah.
the Four Guys.
Yeah.
That is the show. That is believable. There's my half an hour worth of 25 minutes. And
Yeah.
that is every episode, and everything outside of that didn't matter then.
Well,
It
actually,
became
Yeah.
relevant
let
to
me take
other
that back
people
a second.
later.
Let me take that back because with the Beatles, okay, and I'm sorry to say the Beatle word, but with the Beatles,
don't.
what was so amazing about the Beatles is that we learned about how Lennon and McCartney were the songwriting team, and George Harrison was writing songs. Even Ringo Starr was attempting to write songs. So I think rock and roll had changed so much, and the songwriter and the band in the band was a very important thing. So anyone that wasn't just an 8-year-old teeny bopper watching the TV show were looking at what the music was going to be more so than just what was being portrayed on the TV screen.
Yes, I agree, but the TV show was the first time that actors used their real names. Mike,
True.
Mickey, Peter, Davy. They weren't like Joe Blow made up bullshit names, right? That was their real name. So they were
Right.
actually, that's them. You know,
Right.
Mickey Dolenz tells the story that one Christmas he went to a shopping centre and he thought there was a fire on because people were running towards him. He didn't understand the success of the show. That was huge. That's look, that's as big as the Beatles in America, right? The
Yeah.
Beatles didn't live in America. These are an American product with Davy Jones singing up front, but he's not singing in English. He's singing American pop
American
songs.
rock and roll. Yeah.
Yeah. And they had their own sound. And where do you find a guitarist with a wool hat that's like you've never seen before? I mean, to
Yeah.
make it with a guy with a wool hat, that's pretty far out. That's why the producers call him comeback wool hat for the auditions.
Yeah.
Comeback wool hat because it's stuck.
Yeah. Well, we love David for a lot of different reasons. I mean, I know that the girls in my school, even though I was, a couple of years above it, I remember hearing about the monkeys in school. My sister had a big crushes on all the monkeys, and of course, whenever they showed Davy in the TV show, and a girl would walk by, his eyes would have stars in them and all that kind of thing. I mean, it was just really cute. It was a lot of fun, and Davy really pulled at your heartstrings,
Hmm.
Yeah,
and
I know. But I just want to say this bit now. If I'm going to talk about the 58 episodes of The Monkeys, I'll tell you one scene of Davy Jones that lives with me forever. And I'm going to tell you the scene. Okay.
what's that?
You remember the big man? The big man ended up being a woman, right?
Yes,
Right.
Rosemary.
And Mike Nesmith gets told, go on the piano and let's hear a few songs. So while he's playing the songs, Michael Nesmith, he goes to Davy, use the phone. We're in trouble. See, get help. So Davy Jones goes to the old telephone and winds it up and goes there and he goes, hello. And he goes, this is, first of all, he talks to an Indian, right? And the Indian says, me, primitive Indian, but he's got all the latest phone gadgets. He's got these like the latest phones. So he didn't get anywhere. And he goes back to Mike, and Mike goes, try again. Anyway, he rings up and he goes, who's this? He goes, Dylan. Who? He goes, Marshall Dylan. He goes, oh, that's who you want. You gotta tell him about it because he can write. No, he goes, who's this? And he goes like Marshall Dylan or whatever. And he goes, oh, you're looking for the wrong Dylan. You need Bob Dylan so he can write a song about your troubles.
No, I mean the humor in the TV show was tremendous. The comedy was fast. It was zany. And you just enjoyed it so much, like you said, if you were watching it as a kid, even as as I got older, I appreciated what they were doing on stage.
Yeah, but how great is it that they had writers from the Get Smart TV show?
Yes.
Did they now?
Yes.
They had
Because
two
very
writers
simple.
from the
Batman,
Get Smart.
Get Smart, the Monkeys, all very much similar type of shows. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they had
All
the
right.
writers. I said two writers from that actual Get Smart TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Go ahead,
wanted to
Mark.
ask about Davy's life post Monkeys, because one of the things that I've enjoyed, I've tried to look at what was happening with Davy as a solo artist, and I really think that somehow or other, whoever was in charge of putting this stuff together completely screwed around on all of the Monkeys, on Nesmith as well as Davy, because we're fortunate nowadays that 7A and other companies have put out some of Davy's CDs, reissued his albums, his recordings that were unearthed from what he did at home. It's a shame to me that this didn't happen 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And you could have gotten some appreciation from radio and from his audience, because there are some really good tracks there.
The thing that always baffles my mind is the Davy Jones album, the one on Bell Records there, in the middle, the 1971 one. And, they left off the song he sang on the Brady Bunch. Now, granted, the album came out first, but I mean, of all things to leave off. And then, the type of songs weren't like the Monkees type songs, and they weren't like songs they did on his earlier album. And it's like, who was running the show there?
It seems to me that it wasn't even issued for Davy Jones.
Yeah.
These were songs that the Brady kids recorded. I think Bobby Sherman had recorded some of them.
Actually, it was Bell Records, and they were pushing the Partridge Family at the time.
Yes,
and I always felt that some of the songs were Partridge Family rejects.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe.
And the producer had worked with Bobby Sherman. But there is one song here that was a minor hit for Davy, Rainy Jane, and that was co-written by Neil Sedaka, who passed away today.
Right.
So, and Neil had written When Love Comes Knocking at Your Door, and the Monkees.
Carol Bayer Say, right?
And The Girl I Left Behind Me on the Instant Replay album. And the Monkees covered I Go Ape on the 33 and the Third television special. So
I forgot that.
So Neil Sedaka was a big part of the Monkees story too.
Yes, he was. And in fact, we should kind of digress for just a moment to kind of pay a little tribute to Neil Sedaka. I have a couple of stories. I have a story that I can tell from high school, but essentially, I got to know his music because CBS FM was the oldies radio station in New York. They came into place about 1972, and my sister Nancy and I started listening to all these oldies from the 50s and early 60s on this radio station, and that's how I was introduced to Neil Sedaka, who around that same time had a remake, a re a new career rather with pop radio with Laughter in the Rain,
Yeah.
ballad version of Breaking Up Is Hard to Do. He did a track with Elton John called Bad Blood, which is my favorite. One of my
Mhm.
favorite Elton John songs.
Mhm.
Fantastic stuff.
Yeah,
And
but
then he
I love a, hey, I love a calendar girl.
That's
and Calendar Girl.
Love a
Yeah.
calendar girl.
You know,
And
you
old
got
Carol.
Calendar Girl, and then back in the day, right, he had all these songs like Calendar Girl, Yours, Happy Birthday, Sweet 16, Oh
Right.
Carol,
Yeah, that he
and I
wrote to
think
Carol because he was in love with Carol.
Carol
Right.
Bayer Sayer, right?
That's
Right.
right.
Well, Carol King. Yeah.
was
Yeah,
Oh, maybe it
one of
was
the
Carol
Carols.
King.
He loved
all the
her.
carols.
I don't know
All the
which
And
Carol.
carols.
and
Carol O'Connor.
he wrote
No.
and he also wrote songs for artists like the Carpenters,
Yeah,
you know, and people like that. And Elton John's the one who helped revive his career in the 70s because by 1970, Neil Sedaka had all these great songs and he wanted to get back in the game as a performer, but nobody wanted to know because, oh, you're from the early 60s, nobody wants to know hear that stuff. And he played the songs to Elton John. And Elton John says, and nobody wants these songs? I'll put them out. And he put it out on his Rocket Records and
yeah.
they became hits. And Neil Sedaka thanks Elton John for helping to revive his career.
You know, and Elton John doesn't get enough credit for that, and that story should become more. I guess it'll probably the next few days, probably hear more of that as they report Neil Sedaka's passing.
I know
But
that,
he was instrumental in getting John Lennon and Yoko Ono back together again because while John was on his Lost Weekend, he recorded Whatever Gets You Through the Night, and Nelson bet him that if it went to number one, he'd have to perform it at Madison Square Garden. And John was like, "It'll never be number one, you know, it never ever happened. I'm not Paul McCartney for heaven's sake." And sure enough, he did it, and Yoko and John got back together again. A year later, they had a kid, you know, so, you know, it's a
Yeah,
good
but
story.
Elton John said, when this goes to number one, you're going to come and play it live with me and do the song. And then he did the song with him at Madison Square Gardens
right.
because he lost the bet.
Yeah.
And it's a
And
great performance, too.
Yoko was in the audience, but she was hidden. And John said subsequently, if he knew she was there, he might not have come out due to nerves.
Sure,
You
sure,
know.
sure.
I got to
Um,
say something about Carole King, all right?
uh,
When
Okay.
I went to New York, I went and saw the Carole King play in Broadway. Right, Vic and I went and saw it. And I really enjoyed the show, telling her story with Goffin when she was married to Goffin, right?
Jerry
Did you see
Goffin.
that when it was in Broadway, Fred?
Yes, that was
Yes.
great show.
Great
I'm
Right.
sorry, Fred, go ahead.
Oh, no. Yeah. Yeah. The show was beautiful. It was the name of the show.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Did you see it? I did.
I didn't see it, unfortunately,
It
but I
was
heard it was
great.
very good.
It was very good. I saw it, and it talks about the drill building
Yeah, that's right.
relationship of those writers, in particular with, and I'm going to mess up their names now, but it was not Bobby Hart. Oh, I can't think of the other name, but
Jerry
very
Goffin.
close friends of Carole King. Um, as other couple, the some of them,
Oh,
husband
Yeah,
and
Carol
wife
Ellie
sort of
Bayer
Greenwich.
relative.
Sayer.
Ellie Greenwich.
Well, that's one of them, but not the one I'm thinking about. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up while we're talking.
And I got to say, if you watch an interview that I did with Tony Wine, who sang on the Archies, right? If you watch that interview, she goes in depth about the Brill Building era.
Yeah,
mhm.
Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil is
That's
who I'm
it.
thinking
That's
about.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to tell a story about Neil Sedaka, because when I was in high school, and this is one of those stories that 48 years later it still hurts. Okay,
Oh,
I was one of those kids that kids picked on. I was the short kid. I was the weird kid. I was this or I was that. And so I was, that was for one reason or another, they would try to do something. And I would try to get attention I would try to get attention to kind of sway the 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 issue away from trying to make fun of me and trying to make a laugh about it. So, for instance, when John Travolta did uh, the Barbarino song, which was actually Barbara Ann on the Welcome Back Kotter show, he would do this ba 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 Barbarino kind of bit. So the kids would have me as Ed sing it during the lunch hour. So some kid got me to get on the cafeteria table to jump up and start singing Vinnie Barber, ba 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 ba, and then I would do Elvis, I would do Hot Brick Hotel, I would do this or that. So this became a routine, and the first couple times it was a funny thing, and then it became a little bit annoying. So one time I decided to have a little fun with the rest of these kids. I'm gonna play you a Neil Sedaka song um, that is actually the title, the same song of another very famous 1970s rock song. Can you hear that?
No,
No.
Okay,
I
I thought
guess
I had my settings on there for it to hear video or to hear audio.
I get to share it.
Audio. I'm sorry, but it's
Hey,
not
I
working.
gotta say something
Let me
there.
just finish my story, Plastic. So anyway, the song that he did was called "Stairway to Heaven,"
Hmm.
and it's just hysterical. It's like it's and now I'm gonna build a stairway to heaven because that's where you are and stuff like that. It's hysterical. And so, here I am. I'm gonna say I'm gonna sing "Stairway to Heaven," and all the kids are like, "Wow, man, really, really, you're gonna do that?" And so, sure enough, I come up with this damn song, and I got kids laughing like you wouldn't believe. It was hysterical. And I got a couple of people that try to beat me up, but that's in the story. Plastic, what were you gonna say?
I was just going to say, you know what I love about your show, Ed? It's so unpredictable with what's happening in technology, right? That's why I love it. Usually I don't get on for half an hour. Today I tried to get on with my computer that's got Zoom Unlimited. It didn't work. I had to come on my telephone. It's like the unknown. Every time I come on your show, it's like expect the
Never know
unexpected.
what's
That's
gonna
what I like.
happen.
It's like the Twilight Zone. You don't know what's going on. And I also want to
Pop-O-Matic.
say something else, if I may, right? Now, believe it or not, Plastic EP has released 6 movies this month. And I made
That's
the
right.
6 movies this month. And I know that you've seen a few, Ed, haven't you?
Yep.
What have you seen? Which ones?
Hey, bananas. That's the one I saw. The other ones I kind of flipped to a little bit.
Okay, I just got to quickly say something, right? What happens is, the first film is called The Crazy World of the EPs. The second one is called Rock and Roll Aliens Come to Town. It's all animated. The third one, right, and I can't remember half the time, right, what I did, right, but the third one is called The Hey Bananas We Think Are Groovy, and I've got to give credit to Nathan Liu because I stopped at 3 movies and I thought that's enough. And then Nathan Liu goes, these are fantastic, right? Said, you've got to do a video on your song, Hey Bananas We Think You're Groovy. And I said, I don't really want to do anything. He said, no, you must do it anyway. I was motivated enough. I started the video, and it was meant to be like a 3-minute video. And as soon as I saw 15 seconds of it, I go, no. I go, this is a movie. So then it took a week, and I did that one too. So that's number 4. And then I said, listen, I want to do something in the 70s. So I come up with this thing called Find Funky Funk, right? That's all disco in 70s. And what happens is this guy's got a ring that has control of all the grooves music in the world back in the 70s. And this ring, he's got it on the bonnet of his 70s car, but he hides it in the seat. So you got to see that one. And then I thought, yeah, that's okay. And then all of a sudden, the latest one I did is a song I did called Monsters Paradise, right? Where you go to a resort for monsters. Now you got to see these 6 videos. You go to Daniel Sam, or you go to EP's channel on YouTube, or you go to EP's on Facebook, and you'll see them, right? And
Yeah.
unless you see them, you don't know what I'm talking about. But my point is this: I want to describe to you what AI is. AI, instead of having an argument with someone, let's say me and Vicky argue about something, I don't have to do that anymore. Because when I'm dealing with AI, it does everything the opposite from what I want. Everything. I say, listen, okay, let's have a band. Let's have another band now, and let's keep it going. So the next minute, this band comes on and goes, and here's the band you've been waiting for. Let's keep it going. And I'm going, what? Whatever I don't want, it does. And I
Let's
said,
keep it going.
can you? Yeah, it's true. It's there. You'll see. And this is the best. I go, can you put Vicky and I in the 70s? I'm talking about the generation of the 70s. This idiot AI put us as 70-year-olds. And I'm watching her have a conversation as we're 70. And I go, you idiots, right? And I go, I can't use that for the movie.
You're arguing with it.
So I'm arguing with AI every single minute of the day. I haven't got time to argue with anyone else. And that's true. And everything I tell her, it does the opposite. There's a scene there, right? Where Vicky and I are fighting the Spartans, right? In the ancient times. And I've got a guitar and I'm fighting the Spartans. And Vicky's got the emblem of the EPs, the drum head as a shield. And I told AI, the idiots, we want to fight with the Greeks, not against them. And what does it do? It puts us fighting against the Spartans. And you can't do anything about it. And until they start changing what AI does, I'm sick of. I may as well tell them the opposite, and then I'll know they'll do the right thing. Just idiotic AI.
Wow.
Well,
There's one of them.
thing
There's
that
one
you
of them
don't
that's
know,
like a
this is
James
my
Bond
last
story.
point. This is my last point, right? What people don't understand. You do that first movie, right? The Crazy World of the EPs, there's 40 minutes. But what you don't know is that I had to actually organize it in 15-second segments. So you know how many times 15 seconds has to go to make a 40-minute film? And then what happens is the idiotic parties, I'm looking for a 15-second film clip to add on to the first bit I did. Where's this on my computer? And I couldn't find it. So I just spent about a year in my head trying to find all the bits fit together. That is like insane.
That's a lot of editing. Yes. You want to send that Monsters one to Charles Rosenet.
No,
Yeah.
I want to say something. Now, listen, you're going to love this, right? In the first movie, I think it's the first movie, yeah. The Crazy World of the EPs, listen to this. Right, I got Nathan Liu, right, and he's a taxi driver, and he looks 16 years old. And he picks up this lady with dogs. And he starts talking about let's have dinner and let's do this and let's do that. And in one of the scenes with the AI, he's talking to her and saying we should have dinner. And then she says something. And then instead of her talking, Nathan Liu's voice is changed to her voice. I can't use that.
That's
so
weird.
AI made the switch in the characters. I got garbage. And then Charles is in that cartoon scene. You seen the cartoon scene where the manager goes and says, I want to speak to someone. Is it Mr. He says, I'll speak to somebody here about the record, about the EPs. He goes to a record company called We Pay Nothing Bananas. We pay you bananas or something. And he said, you see that? And that's Charles in cartoon form, right? So you've got to see that segment. And then I've also got Scott, and he's the only one that came up the best. And then I've got Daniel Costin, and I put a picture of Daniel Costin, listen to this, and they come up with a dude with a different name, but he's got the same shirt. So the face is different, but similar. Doesn't look like him. And I said to Daniel, I'm going to get your photo and stick it in the middle of the scene so that people will see the only thing that looks like you is the shirt, and you get the gag.
Well,
That's right. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun with that. We're gonna have to watch those movies a little bit more carefully.
yes, do me a favor. Do me a favor, Plastic. Don't put me in. I'm too expensive.
No, don't worry. Listen, at the end, I asked Ed if he wanted to be in one of the movies. He said, no, thanks, I'll give it a miss.
I'll take a pass on that for the time being. I'll make my movie debut some other time. So, anyway, well, I guess we'll kind of move on a little bit more with this some Davy talk, and
I do have one Neil thing to say though. So I mean,
sure.
not Neil. Yeah, Neil Sedaka. He was on. Did anybody here ever listen to Gilbert Gottfried's podcast?
I've heard some of them.
Okay. He interviewed Neil Sedaka in 2019, and I highly recommend digging it out from the archives. You just can Google search it and find it. It's hysterically funny, and he talks about his whole career. He talks about how the Beatles ruined his career, and how Elton John brought it back, and other things. He does mention the Monkees too, of course, and he gets them to sing some Yiddish songs and things like that. They sing together, and it's just a crack up. And it's like it made me want to see him, but he was already in his 80s, and he even said on the show, I do like 3 performances a year, and they're like all on the East Coast. It's like, oh, if I knew he was this good, I would have seen him a lot sooner.
Check out PBS.
Yeah,
PBS has had a Neil Sedaka concert maybe 5 years ago.
yeah,
And it's a really good show because he goes through his whole career. He tells stories. It's just him at the piano.
yeah,
So, I thought it was very good. I always liked his songs. His voice, I was never really a big fan of, but I kind of like a
Mhm.
little unique stuff anyway. So, I liked what he was able to do. I have a great appreciation for anyone that could be a songwriter and do something in music and then be able to transition into being a songwriter and then to have a second act as a recording artist. That's a
Yep,
huge thing. And I have a lot of respect for him. And
yep,
we will
Well,
miss him. And we're very thankful that he's made this music that we can all still enjoy. And I'm sure there's other ways that they're going to find a way to to ha to put in movies or to use in some other
right.
Hey,
format.
I just want to say something. While you were talking, I moved out to my backyard. I don't personally give a tour of my backyard, right? But since we're between friends, I'll just show you my backyard. It's the back of my house, and I'm just sitting here, right?
Oh, I like that.
cool.
So I'm just sitting. It's like an English home, 1940s it's built.
Mm.
And then across the road, I'm just saying I've got a park. I don't know if you see through the trees there, but there's a park.
Uh-huh.
And it's a nice sunny day because every day's hot now. You
Yeah.
see the
Yeah.
park?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's the park there.
Hmm.
That's
I
really
just
nice
opened my
plastic.
I just opened my gate. I don't normally do this, but we may as well give you an exclusive for your show. Hang on.
Thank you,
Okay.
plastic. Appreciate it.
I forget
Yeah.
the seasons are opposite, so it's kind of funny, Oh
Hey
yeah,
man,
it's
hey
summer.
listen, this is what when the show is over, I plan to listen, I gotta tell you something. You know the best thing about not owning a swimming pool?
Hmm.
What's that?
Knowing someone that owns a swimming pool. So
Yeah.
what happens is
Hmm.
I'm going to a relative and I'm gonna go swimming later. Hey,
Very cool.
here's something Vicky won't like, right? Vicky hanged out the clothes.
Uh-huh. Oh, she'll love that.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, and I'll just show you, right?
That's actual
We're not
plastic
going to
EP
say we're
underwear,
not going to
folks.
show you the banana movie. We're not going to show you the banana movie from the movie Hey Bananas. But let me tell you, this is Vicky's car, right?
Uh-huh.
Very
It's an
cool.
MG. It's made in China, and then we got that other car at the back there. That's a Holden car, Australian car. It's
Mhm.
called a Captiva.
Very
Very
nice.
cool.
All right. I didn't want to take the thunder of your show, but I thought since I'm out here and I
All
go
right, I
Oh,
here,
appreciate the little tour. The
can
little
I
tour.
can I show a couple of
Fred,
Dave?
show us around your apartment, your house, please.
Okay, well, I'll show you a couple of things I got. I got a couple of 7A single Davy Jones singles.
Very
Oh,
nice.
okay.
This is Daydream Believer backed with I Want to Be Free. That was put
Hmm.
out by 7A Records some years ago. And here's another one, Rainbows, which is a very rare song. Chip Douglas wrote it,
Mhm.
and it's very nice also, very rare. And I think some of you guys have this, the Davy Jones 1970
Yes,
one Bell Records, the Live in Japan
Yep.
that's a good
CD
album.
with the
Good
DVD of him
performance.
performing the most recent one, the MGM and Memories recording, which is really good. The
I
MGM,
never got that one. I should get that one. What's it called?
oh,
Music and
it's a good
Memories.
one.
Okay.
If you
Yeah.
don't
I
have the
just
MGM singles, it's definitely worth getting. And it has the songs from The Point that he did in
yeah.
England with Mickey. And
Yeah,
here's
I've
another
got the
rare,
album.
and here's another rare one, Davy Jones live
Oh, I li
from.
Yeah, it's good.
I
I
It's
have
think
the
that's
very
his
video
good.
for
best live.
that.
I think
Yeah,
that's his best live performance.
I think so too. It's very good. So yeah, just a small
Was that a
sample of what
CD
I
and a
got.
DVD?
Yeah, but
Yes,
listen,
the
I like the way Fred, you got the connection with 7A Records and you have from when they started. But I also want to say that how can you forget Davy Jones in the Brady Bunch singing "Girl"? Come on,
Oh man.
to me, that's the classic moment where he's wearing that green jacket with stripes.
yeah. Well,
And then also, I got to say, a monkey song that's not that well known, which I reckon is one of the greatest, is "A Man Without a Dream." I reckon that
Yes.
song is a bit
great.
for its time.
It's
Hmm.
a great song. And "Girl" is a bonus track on this recording.
Right.
Yeah. And this the Japanese has the two live albums plus the DVD of his of I think his 1981 performance.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to show you something now that's never been shown, all right? This house here, this is where I do most of my recordings. And I'm going to show you a couple of Rare Monkeys albums there. See here, can you see?
Yeah.
Yep, I see
Hang on a
some
minute.
monkey stuff.
Nobody comes in this room.
Oh,
Elvis.
and
Uh-huh.
Elvis.
Hang on. See the big monkey mobile?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm putting light here so you can see something now.
Yeah, we can see it.
Nobody has seen this room, all right? All right, you see the monkey mobile?
Right.
Yep. And
You see the
Elvis.
Beatles there?
Yeah.
Yep.
You see the
Oh yeah.
1967 original Sergeant Pepper music?
Yeah. Very
Then you
nice.
got books, DVDs. Hang on. I love that. You
That's
got the
nice.
King box of that?
Yeah.
Right. Coming around. Then I got
Batman
my
over there.
original. Hang on, I got my original Monkeys poster there that's signed by all four just to me.
Uh-huh.
Then come around here. One of the rarest Monkeys albums you'll ever get. It only made it up to New Zealand. And that's the one with the four pictures where everyone's got that cover, right? But not with the four pictures.
Right.
Mhm.
Plastic,
Right.
can you show that to us again?
I'm
Can
going
we
to show
see
it
the
now. Hang
actual
on.
album?
Yeah, I'll show it now. Hang on. Here's
Bring
another
it over.
monkey mobile that you put together. A Yellow Submarine reissue.
Yeah, with
HR
Puff
Puff
and
and
stuff.
stuff. Hang on. This is my personal stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
That there,
There it is.
made
Very
in New
nice.
York.
Yeah, that's a really nice looking album. What I like about it, Plastic, is the drawings. Because those
Okay,
are the
Mike
drawings that
Nesmith.
must have been from when they made the what was the album that Peter wasn't on?
Instant replay.
Instant Replay, and then there was another one with the
Monkeys
drawings on it.
present.
Present.
Okay, do you
So
see
are
here?
those the same drawings from Present?
That was
I'm
Nico
sorry?
Collis did all that. Nico Collis, I interviewed him. He did the artwork for all that for the monkeys.
Okay, so
Because I would love to see all four monkeys drawn in that fashion.
Right.
Now, I just want to
that would-
show you now. We talk about Davy, right? I'm
Yep.
going into it now. Hang on. My problem
Hang on.
is when you
Hang
live
on.
pop culture, you got all here. Hang on. I want to show you the stuff that's been signed by Davy Jones. Hang on. Since I'm here, hang on.
Beatles.
Beatles.
This is a rare. You know that's rare.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
The Beatles
Yeah.
ballads is rare.
but I do have a copy of it.
Do you know Desi and Billy?
I don't have
I
that.
interviewed. I interviewed. Who was it?
Dina
Billy-
Martin, right?
Billy.
Hershey.
Probably Billy.
I interviewed Billy.
Billy.
Hang on, this is a rare one.
Right.
That's a Beatle one. That's Australian. That's Australian
cool.
only.
Okay,
That
that
was
one I
by
haven't seen.
post.
I
Right,
like
hang
that.
on.
I like the cover.
Hang on. I don't show this to anybody. This stuff. It's my personal. I got Wings Over America with the original poster inside, never been used.
Wow.
I should frame that. Hang on. I got my monkey stuff here. I got too much monkey
Oh, I
stuff.
see
I
you
only
got
got one
the
hand.
you got the Pisces box set. I see it.
Hey, I've got there, and I've got there the other monkeys box set, and I've also got the Archies there. That's been signed by Ron Dainty. He signed the outside of the box, but he signed every single CD personally inside that box.
Very nice.
That's very nice.
I got the talking skulls that I introduced to the cow cells.
Oh, you're scaring me. Gotta bring down the Halloween show.
Did that work or not?
We heard it.
It works.
Absolutely.
Hey, look at this. Look
Here
at
we
this.
go.
Davy Jones
Headquarters.
signed that for me when he came to a convention in Australia. But let me tell you something that no one's got. Lynn Rangel, that was on tour with the Monkeys, the first one, she signed the back and she's passed away. And do you see what it says? To Daniel, I was there on the night. Lynn Rangel, Monkey Tour 67, and she's passed away.
Oh, that's nice.
Wow.
All right.
Very nice.
Okay,
I got another Monkeys thing here. Hang on. We're getting there. Don't worry. It's just my stuff is all over the shop. I only got one hand. You know what I mean? Look at this one. Do you love this?
I have that. Yeah.
That's a good album. Yeah. That's a nice album cover.
I got everything. Hang on. I love this too.
I have that. I have that.
Oh,
I
that's
found
cool.
that at a thrift shop, believe it or not.
Hey, here we go.
Archies.
Yeah.
They're very nice.
I'm glad you can see this. I love this group.
I
Hardy
have
Boys.
that.
There you
I have
go.
the Hardy Boys.
That's pretty good. Come on. Who's got the Hardy Boys? How about this? If you're a real Monkeys fan, you got that one. Ford Kramer plays the Monkeys on
That's
piano.
nice.
I have it, but it has a different cover on the US one. So,
hang on, my favorite, Chewy Chewy. I named my son Chewy Chewy. That's his nickname. If I go to my phone, that's his nickname, Chewy.
Oh, I have that album.
Yes, we had that one too.
And
hey, the Monkeys Refocus. Come on, who's got that?
I do.
I do.
Hang on, I'm looking for even the original Birds.
It was a bird.
It's a bird.
Hang on. I love this. What is it? Carrots and Cats Singing Orchestral Circus. That was supposed to be the bubble gum of Sgt. Pepper album. I've got a Davy Jones album signed here. I've got everything, all right? Don't worry about it. You people got better things to do than watch my collection. Australian show, Young Talent Time.
Don't
Don't
have
worry,
that.
people love this stuff. And this is an original one. Super Disco. This is Stars on 45, 12 inch.
Remember Stars on 45?
Yeah, 12 inch.
That was fun.
6 inch, the 12 inch.
That was fun.
Do you have Bras on 45 by Ivory Pick? The parody.
There you go.
More of the Monkeys.
All right.
Hang on.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, wait a minute. Here we go.
Here we go.
Yay.
Oh, here we go.
There you go.
Dolan's
Jones,
Boys
Boys, and
Heart. And now
nice album cover too.
I remember the feeling.
Yeah, that's right. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty.
You had me rocking and reeling.
Oh, wow,
the
there you
Monkeys
go.
Head. People are going to love this show just to see my collection. Here you go. The French album, Golden Story.
Yep.
Doesn't get any golden than that.
We got import copies of that out in the States here.
Hey, that's another rare Beatle album too. Magical
I've
Mystery
never seen
Tour.
that one. No.
Yeah, that's right. That was you had a mile away for that one. That's getting rare now. The rarities.
Rarities I got.
Yeah.
Hang on.
That
That one there.
I like that album. You know.
I do too.
I got a lot of bad press, but I like that album.
Now,
hey, that one I was looking for the cover underneath. It's with the dolls,
Butcher
but
cover.
it's a dud. There's no dolls there.
It's a dud.
There's no dolls there.
Is it dolls or dud?
Hey, I never played this record. I bought London Town and
It's a
never
good
played
one.
it.
It's a good one.
like
London Town's
Town.
good.
Hey,
Batman. I got
Batman.
Batman.
I have that.
Hey, I haven't planned this, back to the egg. I
That's
Back to
good.
the
interviewed
Egg is a great
Juba.
record.
It
Wait a
is.
minute. I interviewed Lawrence Juba and I told him, I got this record. I said, I've never played it since I bought it. And he goes, you're mad. Why don't you play it? I said, no, I don't want to play it.
Oh, it's a great record.
Got
Archie's.
that.
I have the Archies.
In
Everything's
fact,
Archie.
Plastic, if you could take the best of London Town and the best of Back to the Egg, it would be a sensational record.
Hmm.
Well, I
Here
just
we
wish
come.
Here we
McCartney
go.
would
They
put
are.
out
My
those.
favorite album of all time, The Monkees. The Monkees. I just love it. I've got so many copies of it.
How come we have so
And
many?
it's got the Papa Jeans Blues. If it's got Papa Jeans
Oh,
Blues,
that's
it's the
why.
first one. That's
Oh,
the
okay.
first one.
You got mono and stereo and everything?
Yeah, I got all that.
Oh, okay.
Hey, you
That's
know
why.
what? My money, here's another album. My money finished in the 60s. I don't know how they can buy stuff now.
Oh, forget it. You
Plus,
can't
we're
afford
gonna
it.
we're gonna
Hey, see,
have to
that's
move
the,
on a
wait a
little
minute.
bit.
That's the original album that came out without the pictures.
Right.
Right.
And that's how we knew it. And I couldn't understand why there's no picture of the Monkees when I got that for my birthday present at 9 years old. I couldn't understand why there's this big black gap there. And it was only like
can we
5
see the
years ago.
pictures on the other album? Can we see the
There's
pictures
no
on the other
pictures
album?
anywhere. There's
No,
no
hold it.
pictures
No,
anywhere.
no, on the
No,
front.
no, the drawing. Hey, no, hold it up. Not that one. The other one.
The other
The
one.
other
The other
one.
one.
With the
Yeah.
drawings on it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
And this is
They're
the
not the same,
original
right? They're
that
not the
came
same
out.
ones
This is the
from
original that
Present.
came
Okay.
out. Nothing on it.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay, I think
How
we're
can you
wrapping
put
up,
out
aren't
an
we?
Yeah,
album
we
without
gotta wrap it up, Plastic.
wrap it
I'm
up? I'm
running
just
out of
going to go
time.
through. I'm just going to keep
We're
going
just
through
getting
my record
started.
collection.
I know, I
I'm
know,
going
I
to
know.
stay here for the next hour and just go through my record collection. All right.
Okay.
Well, they're doing do a special show about that.
I'm
So-
gonna
Don't worry,
plug
I've
my
done
books in
enough.
the
I
meantime.
don't show this stuff.
So anyway, we're gonna kind of wrap things up, and I'm glad that everybody enjoyed that very, very intimate performance of Plastic EP's home and his record collection and so forth. But it's been nice to be able to be here to reminisce about Davy Jones and
Yes.
to also celebrate Neil Sedaka.
Yay.
So we're gonna ask you guys to just kind of give a little chat about what you're up to, what projects you're going on, and where people can find you. Mark, you want to head
Okay. Well,
us
just to remind
on that?
everyone, I got two Monkeys books I wrote with Michael Ventrella. One's about their group years, one's about the solo years, and they're all still in print and on Amazon. I have good news that Charles F. Rosenay is having a Monkeys convention this September in Connecticut, and I'm going. So if you
Me
want to
too.
see Michael Ventrella and me together, probably Fred Velez and me together, Ed Rising and me together, Plastic,
We're
come
going
on
to be
out.
there.
Anyway, and Charles and me together, we'll,
I'll take
because
my hat off
it's
to
rare
you.
for me to go to the East Coast. So, here we go.
Okay.
Well, we're going to have a special show. We're going to tape it on Monday, and Charles is going to preview the convention, and so that'll be up in a couple of weeks.
Right.
And I'm gonna try to do a couple of previews on the convention to help build interest on that. That should be a hell of a time. And
And
Fred, what have you been doing? Have you have your books?
I have my books. My first book, A Little Bit Me, A Little Bit You, The Monkeys from a Fan's Perspective. And my more current book, A Little Bit Me, A Little Bit You 2,
Ooh.
The Monkeys from International Fan Perspectives, which includes Plastic EP in there. So
Right
That's
on.
great.
And you're doing a new project you mentioned.
I'm trying to work on a new project. I may need some help. You might hear from me, Mark. So, yeah, you, Mark. And both these books are available through Amazon in both print and Kindle.
Okay.
Very
Okie
cool.
dokie.
And Plastic, you have made your 6 movies, which we're gonna have to put into the show notes here, the links for them.
Yeah,
We'll
I'll
put them
send
in
you
there.
the one link. I got one post that's got all 6 movies, all the links. I just want to say something. I love you guys. Thank you for having a look at my house and my personal collection and my
We
life.
love you too,
Thank you.
Plastic.
And I really appreciate you looking at my laundry. Okay, thank you.
Woo. Laundry
All
down
right.
under.
So,
All right, let's keep it
everybody,
down
thank
under.
you very much for being on with us tonight and having a little laugh and having a little bit of nice remembrance. This is Ed Rising, Ed's Pop-O-Matic podcast. You can find videos that we do on my YouTube page and the website. The podcast you should be able to find on most of the streaming websites and so forth. So thank you very much for participating and for checking us out. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you and good night.
Good night, folks.
Okay,
Peace
nice.
and love. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Man on the run.